a very interesting topic that we chose. O papel do espírita morando fora do Brasil. What's the role of spiritists living abroad? I think most of us are immigrants. We chose Canada for different reasons. And what is our role here, being from Brazil, learning or knowing that Spiritism in Brazil is more, for lack of a better word, mature, mais maduro. It's been there quite a while, and for us here, it's pretty in the infancy. So what is our role in helping with the Spiritist movement here? So yeah, I'm very excited to have that program here with us. So September 2nd is Wednesday. We usually have our virtual meeting for the study of the Spirit book, but we'll be here at FSS. We usually start at 6:30 with some food. It's always good to start with food. And then at 7, we will start with some reflections, and it goes until 8:39 p.m. So we welcome everyone to join us here. So, because we are going to talk about fraternity today and fraternal love, I chose a text from the Daily Bread called Fraternal Love, which is the same passage from Paul with the letter to Hebrews, saying that let fraternal love remain. And we're going to explore a little bit more during our talk today. But Emmanuel will tell us, family affections, blood ties, and natural affinities can be very holy manifestations of the soul when individuals raise them to the altar of the higher sentiments. However, the spirit should not fall under the weight of its personal inclinations. Equilibrium is the ideal position. By being overly protective, countless parents cause their children harm. Due to the excessive worry, many married couples descend to the caverns of despair, confronted by the insatiable monsters of jealousy that destroys their happiness. Because of carelessness, beautiful friendships end in the depths of darkness. The above evangelical appeal, therefore, is of great importance. Pure fraternity is the most sublime of the relationships between souls. People who believe they are children of God and sincere brothers and sisters of humankind are not victims of the ghosts of spite, envy, ambition, or mistrust. Those who love one another fraternally are elated with the joy of others, and they are pleased with the good fortune that visits their neighbor. The tumultuous affections that are common on the earth pass volcanically and uselessly. In the web of reincarnation, affections change constantly. Sublime and pure fraternal love, representing the supreme objective of people's understanding, is the imperishable light that will survive on the eternal path. So let us pray. So let's raise our thoughts, our sentiments, emotions to our Father, God, to Jesus, our Master and our brother, to the entire spiritual team that guide this activity on this Sunday morning, and all the spirits that guide the journey of FSS, and to all our guardian angels. And first, be grateful. Be grateful for one more opportunity that we are gathered here in this fraternal community to learn more of Jesus' teachings, to learn more how Kardec and the spirits can help us navigate the challenges that we have in this incarnation, living in this turmoil that we are living now in this world, and how we can understand better the essence of the fraternal love and how we can apply it, first with ourselves and then to the society and to all our brothers and sisters that are close to us. And let's ask that we maintain our thoughts connected to God's wisdom, to God's will, and that we have a blessed Sunday morning, a blessed talk full of good reflections, and that we can leave FSS feeling hopefully a little bit better than we have. So good. All right. So today we're going to talk about fraternity, fraternal love. So when we talk about fraternity, it's the name of our center, Fraternity Spiritist Society. What comes to mind? What does fraternity mean? Let's go with the basics. Definition. And I have a few not definitions, but some quotes that can help us understand better what fraternity means. But what comes to mind when we're talking about fraternity? What does it mean if I say, "Ooh, I was fraternal today," or "No, I was not fraternal today"? What are the characteristics that can make us? Yeah, I did something good. That I am fraternal, or I was fraternal. Empathic, empathy. Yeah.
Socialization.
Socialization. Okay. What else?
To me, it's like the love between siblings.
The love between siblings.
And
what is the love between siblings?
so that's the next, yeah. So it's like that you have like always two kind of fighting emotions,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end you know that you was brought up with that person and you just keep that love. Like you may have fights here and there and conflicts, but you always find a way to, or try to find a way to, go back to that family love.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see the fraternal word, like in this setting, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just reminding us that we are all like God's sons, and that even though we might have conflicts with each other, we need to remember that and get to
Perfect.
love everyone.
Perfect. I think you touch a very important part, which is we're all God's son. And Victor talked about the Our Father prayer last weekend. Was it last weekend?
Yeah. Yes.
And there is a reason why we say Pai Nosso que estás no céu, right? Our Father.
Who art in heaven.
Who art?
Yeah.
In heaven. Okay. I never learned this in English, only Portuguese. So this is the biggest. If we say Pai Nosso or Our Father, that means we're all brothers and sisters. However, things are not. If we look at the world today, things are not working very brotherly or sisterly, right? But that is a key important component of fraternity, is that brotherhood, sisterhood sentiment. And there's another very important correlation between fraternity and one of the biggest say for Spiritism, which is charity. Exactly. It's how we are charitable with our beloved brothers and sisters. Because if we understand what is the definition of charity, if we go how Jesus defined charity, there are three components, right? And we always say the BIP in Portuguese. Benevolência, indulgência, e perdão. Benevolence, indulgence, and forgiveness.
Yep.
Benevolence, it's kind of a little bit more straightforward, right? You give something, it's more on that o assistencialismo, or we provide some things to our brothers and sisters in terms of material things. The other two a little bit tougher. Having indulgence to others is to understand that sometimes my brother or my sister did something to me that really hurt me. And how can I practice indulgence and how can I practice fraternity and treat that person that hurt me as a brother and as a sister? It's more of a challenge. However, the invitation for us to practice that, because that other person is also a son or a daughter of God, right? And everyone that in this web that we are here, like we're in this meeting here now, there is a purpose for all of us to be here. There is a purpose for the work, whatever relationships that we have in our work, in our family, other volunteer that we have. There is a purpose. There's nothing that happens by chance for us to practice this fraternity with all the ones that are incarnated here. So we're going to go through a little bit of, I wanted just to give a little bit of this introduction, because we're going to go into a little bit of this definition and what does Kardec say about fraternity. And we're going to see in the Genesis how important it is for us to practice, especially if we understand that this world is changing from trials and expiation to a planet of regeneration. Fraternity, we're going to see, is the cornerstone. There's no society that is evolved if there's no fraternity. And sometimes it's like, oh, but how does it even look like to have a world with fraternity? Sometimes it's hard for us to conceptualize what does that mean. So Kardec brings one example from our beloved planet from Jupiter, where fraternity reigns. Fraternity is the cornerstone of that planet. So we're going to take a look at the description. At least we have something to look forward and to understand a little bit better. What does it look like? So this talk, I'm going to use the Spirit's book. As you might know, I really appreciate Artur Valadares. So we're going to talk about, he talks about conversation about fraternity, conversando sobre fraternidade, and the journal, the Spirit's Review, a revista espírita that talks about Jupiter. So I want to start with this definition from Victor Hugo in the book Na Sombra e na Luz. He says that fraternity is the sublime and shining link that indissolublemente links all souls, solidifying all affective feelings into one reciprocal love. There's one word here that really made me think, which is the word reciprocal. Because sometimes I am, or at least I'm trying to be fraternal.
You're making the effort.
Yeah, but my neighbor, it's not
Literally.
maybe the neighbor is not being fraternal. And here Victor Hugo is saying that our goal is to have that reciprocity. Fraternity happens in both ways. And that made me think of my own responsibility. Okay, am I being first? Am I being fraternal? Sometimes I am not. And yesterday, it was a good example.
What happened?
Of course, it's about traffic, right?
14.
It wasn't 14. I was driving on, it was a school zone. I was trying to respect the law, which I have to drive under 30. And there was a person. I was driving, and then she was like, what are you? It's I'm driving, and why are you rushing? This is the school zone. And then she started following me. And then I won't do what she did. But it was like, I was like, almost inside of me, there was no fraternity. I want to stop there and say, lady, what are you? It's like I'm not getting. What are you trying? You see, there is at that moment that he failed, right? I don't know what that person was going through. I had no idea, right? And that was a good invitation for myself to think and practice fraternity and practice charity. How can I be indulgent to that person who I have absolutely no idea? I don't know what she's going through, and it's not my responsibility to understand or be responsible for her, but I'm responsible for my own acts. And the interesting part is that feeling is so much poison because even remembering now, there is a discharge, right? So that this reciprocal is like, no, none of us were being fraternal at that point yesterday, right? But at some point, it's like now I'm reflecting, how can I be fraternal in such a simple situation, but really drove me, kind of irritated me. And on the other side, when I am fraternal, but the other person is not, how do I just give up? Do I just person A is not being fraternal with me, so what's the point? Let's all be unfraternal. Let's not practice that at all. Is that no, right? I can only control myself. I can only start with that fraternity within myself. And we never know. We never know some of the examples that we gave in our behavior, in our words, or even with our silence. We don't know, maybe with that person, we don't see the impact right now. And that's kind of our tendency as human beings. I want to be fraternal with you, and you better be fraternal right now. And I want to see the results right now of me being fraternal with you. We're very immediatists, right? We need to see that result right now. But we have no idea, maybe at that point, my fraternal love was not absorbed, but it was planted as a seed. Nothing happens by chance, and everything that we do has an impact, being good or being bad. And if I am fraternal and I display that fraternal love, even though the person receiving it could not see it, we don't know what's or when that seed will flourish. And I was watching one good example of that. I was watching one lecture, and the lecturer was saying about how violent we are nowadays. Not in the sense of physical violence, but how violent we are in our behaviors, in our words sometimes, and how we silence other people, or how sometimes we are ironic. And she was describing one situation that she was with her group of pottery, and then she was one of her friends are going to travel abroad, and she wrote a book, and she wanted to give that book to all her friends. So she was giving the book, and one friend told her, "No, I don't want this book." And she was like, "Okay." And because the book was a Spiritist book, she might have thought, "Oh, maybe she doesn't like Spiritism. That's fine." So one year later, the same person came to her and told her, "I just want to apologize." But for what? A year later, you wanted to give me a year ago, you wanted to give me a book, and I just refused. And the reason is that her friend was an immigrant, and she was a writer in her country, and she was about to do the same. She wrote a book, and she wanted to give that book to all her friends. But the editor decided not to do anything. And she did not have that possibility. And at that time that her friend was giving a book, she was jealous because she wanted everything that she wanted to do, her friend was doing. So kind of somewhat effortlessly. And at that time, she could not handle that. You see, we have no idea. And sometimes when we act in some ways that are not fraternal, in some ways that we are a little bit aggressive, it's just because we have that the lecturer said, we have a undermet necessidade não atendida, a need that was not met. Yeah. So it's just, but she was so brave to come to that friend and say, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I hope you can forgive me. And her friend's like, oh, I think I like you even more now that you are honest with me and telling me that you recognize that you were jealous all that time.
And did she get the book?
And then she get the book. So in that reciprocity, there's so many layers. There's so many things, especially nowadays in this world that there's so many polarization. Yeah, this is right, this is wrong. What I think is right, what you think is wrong, and vice versa. And us practicing this fraternity poses a little bit of more of a challenge for us. Another definition now from Emmanuel. Fraternity is a sun composed of divine rays emitted by our capacity to love and serve. And I thought it was so smart from Emmanuel to choose sun, because all of us, with no exception at all, are capable to shine those lights. All of us have the capability to shine that. And it depends on us. And here is an invitation for us to look in ourselves. How strange our lights of sun are when emitting this fraternal love. Because if we don't look at ourselves, and if we are not fraternal with ourselves first, I bet it will be even harder for us to be fraternal with our neighbors, being friends, parents, relatives, and so on. And one piece that also called my attention is serve. What do you think Emmanuel mean by the capacity for us to love and serve? What does serve mean? What does serve look like nowadays?
Humbleness?
Humbleness, yeah.
Indulgence.
Indulgence,
Charity.
yeah. When you look at the word serve, sometimes we go like, we need to do things. I need to go and provide, material assistance, being clothing, food. That is important. But I believe that even if we take our context here in Canada, there's a less need of that. Not there's no need. There is still a need of that. But there's a less need of that. And there's more of a different need of serving. What is that different need of serving?
Listening.
Listening, exactly. Is that indulgence? Is listening? Is being there?
Give your time.
Give your time. Sometimes silence. Sometimes not saying anything, right? In the situation where things are agitated, things are there's anger, or there's something that whatever you say, there's no good landing, there's no good outcome of that. So that is, and especially if we think about what the Spiritism doctrine tells us, is kind of donating some of our strengths, our efforts, our time, yes, to listen, to help in providing or giving some sort of advice. What can the doctrine can help? The way that helped me can help someone else. So the serving is a great tool that God has given us in order for us to practice. Arthur likes to use, when he talks about compassion, he describes compassion as God knocking in our doors, the doors of our heart, and saying, hey, if we see someone in need, be material need or emotional need, is knocking and say, hey, can you be my instrument to help your brother? And I thought that was very simple, but very interesting the way he positioned, because most of the time compassion will emerge in a sad situation, right? Bucolic situation. And in that situation that God invited us, can you be my helper? Can you be that bridge, that tunnel that can help my son that is here? Can you play a role in that? And I think we have been receiving more and more invitations to do that in the world that we're living in.
And at the same time, sorry,
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say that at the same time that you're a bridge, you're helping yourself first
Exactly.
because you're giving what you're practicing to that other person.
Yeah, that's a good point. And when you're helping, and then I think there was another reflection that I had in that reciprocal is, what is my intent and what my intention when I'm being fraternal? Am I being fraternal to get something back? Am I bargaining something? Is there a hidden interest to do that? Or I'm being honest and doing that for the good? Serving the same way, serving for the good.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was gonna say that my friend Silvana, she shared a story with me last night. She was in her home in Peterborough, Ontario, and she saw homeless. And she thought that the homeless was gonna ask her money.
Mm.
And then the money, she said, oh, I don't have anything. She said, no, I'm not gonna ask you money. I just want to chat with you. I just want to be listened to.
Oh,
And then they started chatting, and she started being pathetic with the homeless person. And at the end, the homeless asked her, can I give you a hug?
Mm.
And they hugged. And that's all that she needed at the time.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what you were saying.
That's a simple way of serving that doesn't require any material possession. If there's no requirement of if everything that's an excess of your materials, like, oh, I'm gonna give this amount of money because tá sobrando, it's an excess for me. It's just time, and it's just your effort.
I also feel like sometimes financially providing is easier.
It's
Like, oh,
easier.
my money,
Yeah.
and like, oh, I've done my part,
Yeah,
right? And
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
not really it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's the easiest part.
it's the easiest part. Yeah, there is a role for that, but it's the easiest one for sure. Yeah. So here, Paul says, let fraternal love remain. What do you think? For me, this talk was all about a few words that caught my attention. Remain. Why remain?
Oh, because it fades away very quickly.
Yeah.
It fades away very quickly. Okay. Talking even in our, like now, today, this month. It's like, oh, I'm fraternal today until something bad happens and I'm not fraternal.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? If we go even bigger than today, than the month, than the year.
I feel like it says remain, make me think about fraternal love is what's supposed to be. So if it's how it's supposed to be, we should work on keeping this happening instead of the other way around. That's what the sentence
Mm-hmm.
spoke to me.
Yeah. So Arthur mentions a word, imperecível. Fraternity is imperishable. It doesn't go bad. And if you think about the law of incarnation, so today I'm Luis. I'm a man, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a father. But I will be other things in the next incarnation, as I was other things in previous reincarnation. In everything that I do, if I practice fraternity, it doesn't matter if I'm a man, if I'm a woman, if I'm a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, what have you. Practicing and investing the same way that we invest in our material things here, investing my spirit in fraternity, in fraternal love, that is what needs to remain. Because I carry this over for whatever I will be, whatever I did good here, and whatever I did not good here, like yesterday, that I'll need to course correct and I'll need to learn more. Whatever I acquire in terms of fraternity skills in my bank of fraternity, that remains. That carries over to eternity until I get into my pure spirits, as we know we all that we'll all get to that point. So it calls for me as a let's focus on what is important. We have to do a few things here that is required from this material world, but the fraternity, this fraternal love, as I'm practicing charity, as I'm practicing compassion, that is what is to remain in my spirit. Not Luis incarnated here. Luis's body and all the roles that I play in this life are mechanisms for me to exercise and practice fraternity, because that will carry over. This is transitory. This is all pieces, ways for us to learn. We might have made some bad choices in the past, and now God, through His mercy, give this opportunity for us to course correct and to change. If we focus in this fraternal love in everything that we practice, and again, it's very important for us to start that fraternity with our own selves. Because if we are hard on ourselves and we don't even treat ourselves as an apprentice of this life, trying to learn with trials and errors, we will be harder for us even to exercise the fraternity with our brothers and sisters. Because the way that we treat ourselves, most likely, will be the way that we might be treating others.
And then because also the virtue of fraternity is being postponed to
Another
life.
Yeah, I'll be fraternal next life.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask in Portuguese?
Mhm.
Você está sendo muito fraternal nessa vida. Daí, na vida seguinte, vamos dizer que você nasce em um lugar socialmente, né, o seu lugar social que você nasce, os seus pais, as pessoas que você convive não são fraternais, são opostos. Você vem com isso para a sua aula para ensinar aquelas pessoas? Ou você vai ser o exemplo que você vai ter dentro da sua casa, do seu filho, mais vai ser uma coisa que vai te desvirtuar, mas assim, vai tirar a parte da fraternidade da sua alma que você fez nas vidas? Ou você não vai nascer nesse tipo de sociedade porque você já está mais envolvido?
It's a very so the question is like
Sorry.
you were very fraternal in this life. Then next life you come in a family that's not fraternal at all. Does that mean that am I going to be the example, or am I going to lose all the fraternity skills
Or you're
that I
not
had?
going to be born?
Sorry?
Or you're not going to even be born in
Oh,
a
not-
family
yeah.
like this, you know, it's because you're evolved. Let's
Okay.
say like this.
You're very excited.
Yeah, I have a real example. Like, that's why I'm like, let me see. So my dad was a police officer, right? And in Brazil, like, unfortunately, he had to teach me of like not trusting people, like homeless. And as soon as like you talked about homeless people, I was like, yeah. That came to my mind. So, you know, when I see them, the feeling I have is like being afraid. And here in Canada, I met a Brazilian friend, and she's the complete opposite. Like, she makes friends with homeless people. Like, they walk together when she arrives at home at night. Like they will walk her to her building just to make sure that she's safe, and she's in Canada, right? And so that was what reminded me when you talk about homeless. And then when you asked your question, I also remembered that this friend, she like has a lot of problems with her family, because they don't treat her fraternally. So I think that answers your question, because even though like her family does not show love at all, and that pissed me off to my core. Sorry to say that. Because she is the most fraternal person that I know. So she did not lose that.
Yeah, I think there's no formula,
Yeah.
right? But we can understand that there might be a case that if you really progress in your fraternity, you might be here to help that family that are not, and there is a role for you to help that family to become a fraternity. That might be, there's no direct saying that's the thing that happened or that's the formula. One thing that I think we cannot say is you never lose, because the spirit never goes back. Whatever we acquired, we have acquired. If you're here, might be in a mission, might be in some sort of, and I think it's hard for us to say that I completed my fraternity 100%. So I got my fraternity. So it's like I aced fraternity. Yeah, there's no like my fraternity bucket is filled. I think there's always like levels, or there's more for us until we get into the pure spirit. So there might be a like, oh, because I did such a great job. Again, hypothesis, because I did such a good job in the fraternity in my past life, there's more here because I'm more prepared, I have more skills, and I can go even further. So there is another situation. Maybe someone developed fraternity so much that might be able to go to Jupiter because you've done that. You know what to do. So there is a myriad of cases or possibilities to that. One thing for sure is you'll never lose it because the spirit never lose their experience or never go back.
Never lose the virtues
The virtues that
you
are acquired.
acquired, that
Yeah.
you conquered.
But
It's
could we,
always gonna be in your conscious.
but could we say that you are tested also? So you acquired that.
Yeah.
And at some point you are in this family, maybe people who you have lots of troubles before, and now you're meeting them again as an option of like reparation. But it's also where you are tested because you acquired, but like, can you be fraternal when life is gonna break you? I think that's the ultimate, like the highest step. Because I've seen people, like I met a guy, he was like that. He was like super fraternal, super loving, super patient, and in a family that was destroying him. But he kept going, and he went through horrible things in life until like, I know he broke. He just couldn't. He had mental problems. Like it was just too much. But what I feel is like, I don't know, they're connected somehow. He's not just there on a mission. That might
No.
be some case.
There might be some case. That's why there's no. It might be that you've done a little bit in fraternity and now you're in this family because there's some things there. Nothing is by chance. We know that family is our laboratory, and if we are in that family, the same way that we are in this planet. We are all here in this planet because this is the best planet for us to be. If we believe that God is supreme justice and love, this is the best planet for us to be. There's no other better place. Otherwise, we would be born in the other place.
Yeah.
I think that's sometimes it's hard, as the Gospel according to Spiritism says, that Earth is like a hospital, it's like a school, it's like a prison, because there is a lot of things, there's a lot of mechanisms for us to become better. And that's kind of why we're here, the philosophical and existential question. We're here because we want to grow as spiritists, as spirit. We need to improve. We've done a few things that might not be right, or we've done some things that were good, and we are here in this progress to become even better.
I'd like to make a comment about that. So as you said, everything happens with a purpose. There's a reason why things happen, right? It may not feel right, may not feel I deserve or something, but there is a reason. One thing that came to my mind is that when we feel like, and I can speak for me too, oh, I'm above this, I already conquered this, or I'm working towards that goal. I shouldn't be leaving this situation anymore because it's not fair. That's a huge invitation to see how are my humbleness and my feelings about life. Because if I feel in a sense that I'm better than others, even if it's in one specific point,
there's a lack of fraternity already there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and again, I'm not going to go into details, but sometimes I feel like, oh, I thought I was ahead in this virtue. But, I thought I was a little bit more ahead than I am. But if I'm compared to my own self, it's okay. But if I'm compared to other people, oh, I'm leaving this situation because so and so and so are not being fair to me. Yes, they have their part on how they deal with things. But I also, as I said, you are responsible for your own feelings with the driver, right?
Yeah.
So just to think about how are we feeling towards these situations that makes us feel that it's not fair, what is the purpose, but thinking like outside, right? It's others' faults. It could be, but we have something to learn, have something to grow. I think more to grow with all the situations.
Absolutely. Yeah. So here in the Genesis, Kardec says that fraternity must be the cornerstone of the new social order. And I like when the spirits don't leave room for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's not fraternity, somewhat, or might be, maybe. It's pretty straightforward. There's no maybe or just a little bit of fraternity. It must be the cornerstone. And in the same talk that I was listening yesterday, I didn't even notice this, but she mentioned about a passage from the Gospel according to Spiritism, when we were talking about love one's neighbors as oneself. Amar ao próximo como a si mesmo. And look at, it's a sentence from Kardec, actually from Pascal, saying that selfishness is a negation of charity. Now, without charity, there will be no peace for society. And I said, it's like, my God, there's no peace. There's no, and another translation is, and I would state it further, that there will be no safety. And I thought that was very deep. With no charity, we don't feel safe. I was like, oh.
You're speechless.
I was speechless. Like, yeah. And that reminded me, because I did this lecture a while ago, and there was a comment, a very emotional comment from a person that had just immigrated to Canada. And she was walking in her condo. And she heard a lot of things about her being immigrant, just walking.
About her what?
About her being immigrant.
Oh.
And kind of how she felt not accepted. She felt that she didn't belong And I thought that was very profound because most of, or if not all of us here, are immigrant. And all of us here might have faced a few things here and there. And how true is this that I don't feel safe? And how triggers me when there's no charity, when there's no fraternity, how then I start not trusting anyone else because I have to take care of myself. It's first me, not in the sense of taking care of myself, but it's because if there's nothing for me, I'm in trouble. So I have to be smart and I have to get whatever other people are getting because I might feel lost or I might feel behind. And when I put those two together, being the cornerstone and how there's no safety, how kind of important it is for us to be prepared, even though the world is telling us, oh, you gotta be smart, you gotta be ahead of someone else, otherwise you won't have. How is actually the contrary for us to think about, of course, think about ourselves and how we are doing, but not in the sense of being selfish and maybe deceive or maybe practice something that will put me again in that better position, right? It's like, oh, I'm above this and I will be able to conquer this. And I think Jesus says, right? We are here, nós estamos aqui para vencer o mundo, não vencer no mundo. We are here to succeed the world, not in the world, because this is transitory. And when we get into this lack of safety, that's pretty much, not a social order that is reserved for us. But if fraternity is a cornerstone, what does that look like? So Kardec asked in question 793, what are the signs of a fully developed civilization? And the Spirit says, you recognize it by its moral development. You think you are advanced because you have made great discoveries. Are we living this now?
Mm-hmm.
AI, robots, there's so many advancements. And in nature, in essence, they are all neutral. What us incarnated humans do, that's the challenge. Are we using to serve the good or to serve the bad? Great discoveries and brilliant inventions, and because you're better sheltered and clothed than savages. However, you only truly have the right to call yourself civilized when you have eradicated vices from your society and when you live as brothers and sisters practicing Christian charity. Until then, you are merely enlightened nations that only pass through the first phase of civilization. So we are still in this first phase, right? I want to make a point that we are better. We are not worse. If we compare what we had in the past, what happened in the past with us, we are in a better state. We are living longer. We're having better quality of life. We are not stoning people in an open square. But there is a few ways to go in order to bring our intellectual development closer to our moral progress. So what does that look like in Jupiter? So Kardec's, it's a message from the Spirit, Miss Costello. Jupiter is infinitely larger than the Earth and looks very different. It is embraced by a pure and brilliant light. If we take that definition, that light, that pure light of fraternity, that illuminates but does not obfuscate. The trees, the flowers, insects, the animals, which have their starting point here, are larger and more perfected. Nature is more grandiose and varied. Temperature is stable and pleasing. Eyes and ears are enchanted by harmony. The form of these inhabitants is like yours, but embellished. perfected and purified above all. A bond of love and fraternity invites us. The strongest help the weakness. And I wanted to bold that part because here the Spirit is even describing fraternity in a level that I wish I was there. Not there yet. And that fraternity that happens not only with the human beings, but is that fraternity that happens with the entire system of animals, of flowers, and everything. And how I can imagine now how safe it is there as well for me to be as a spirit. Because if there is that bond, that love that connects them, that love and fraternity that unites them, even the weakness, they feel safe, right? They feel safe because the strongest will be there to bring them along and help them to progress. And there's no, oh, I'm going to take advantage of the weakness because I need to secure what is mine first so I don't lose it, right? So I wanted to bring a little bit of what could that look like as we progress. And maybe we incarnated in different worlds and we have an idea what the spirits are telling, what happens in a world where fraternity reigns.
So it's easy to see this part happening here in this planet when we have like a catastrophic event happening,
Exactly.
like pandemic, or when in Rio Grande do Sul we had that terrible flooding that everyone helped another. Of course, some people tried to take advantage of the situation, but still, I think most people try to help each other when we are in a catastrophic situation where I think it's just like a spark inside of us that makes us like help each other. It's natural.
Yeah. And then when you studied the Spirit's book, we studied the law of destruction.
Yeah.
So all this destruction has also a purpose as well, because we are touched when we see kind of at that time the weakest there struggling. That's where it helps us to maybe awaken a fraternal love that we know it's all inside of us. And unfortunately, we still need more of that drastic situation for us to practice, for
Pain.
us to
Pain.
exactly. Yeah. And even I know it might be a very old but new, even if we take the pandemic, right? When it happened, the pandemic, that virus did not choose who was stronger, wealthier, more knowledgeable, smarter. It was for everyone. And we were somewhat forced to practice fraternity with our most inner cycle because we were in lockdown. And there was no other way for us to survive other than to be with those folks and navigate all the challenges that might have been forgotten or might have been missed. But in that situation, we were there, and God gave that opportunity, as hard as it was during those years, for us to practice that first with our own selves and then with society. Yeah.
One thing I'm kind of thinking about, kind of like going back to the beginning a bit, and like I'm struggling with it a bit, honestly. It's the idea of the expectation for reciprocity for fraternal love. Because to me, it kind of makes sense that, like, you know, if you're loving someone, you would expect them to love you back. But it feels like as soon as I have that expectation, it reduces that act of loving to a transaction.
Yeah.
But if I remove it
Yeah.
and then suddenly view it as kind of an act of charity, then I kind of like, it's hard because I don't really understand why like I'm in a position of giving.
Yeah.
Because it feels like I've almost made a choice to love the people around me.
Yeah.
But like,
Isn't that easier to love the people around, and the others might be a little bit harder?
yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that reciprocity, that's sometimes causes some trouble because we're expecting. But can we control the other?
Never.
Never. We can only control our own selves. What? Barely our own selves. Yeah.
Sometimes
Exactly.
we control.
Do it.
But it's, yeah, and I think you bring up a very good point. It's when I expect that, it becomes a transaction.
Mhm.
And I want to see that happen right now. Be fraternal with me because I'm being fraternal with you. How dare you not be fraternal? Right? So we can only, and that I think that's a big call for us to do it no matter what, not expecting the other because we have no idea what the other is going through.
Sometimes my brain goes to the idea that when you're being there for someone, I don't expect that they're gonna do it to me. I just know that may plant a seed for them to change with someone else that may need out.
And that seed, and when I was talking, you want to see the flower of that seed the next day. Man, I was fraternal yesterday. Plant that seed and no flower today.
That's true.
We have that unrealistic expectation as we know that things take time. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So towards the end, so pure fraternity is the most sublime of the system of relationships between souls. So this is our goal, right? Our goal to build, as we're building this system between the souls, we build a smaller system between maybe partners and kids, bigger family with grandparents, bigger relatives. But at the end, I don't know what's the demographic now, the 8 billion people incarnated in this planet with smaller systems need to connect to one fraternal system. This new order needs to happen individually. Even though sometimes I want the other to be fraternal as well because I was. But maybe person A was not fraternal, but the next 2 person might be. And the other one won't be. We live in this kind of very uncertain and this turmoil on this planet where some people are fraternal, some are not fraternal. And that's a challenge for us but stay true to ourselves. And it doesn't matter. I'm being fraternal because that's the right thing. That's kind of the right thing to do. That's kind of my goal. That's why I am here. Because that's the system that I want to build. Even though I might feel like, oh, I'm just a grain of salt. And what's the point? Oh, look at them. They're here. We keep going. I just want to end with this beautiful text that talks about, the text is called Sweet Name or Doce Nome. It's from the brother X that talks about the word, we can do brother or sister. And brother X says, the name of brother is perhaps one of the sweetest titles that exist in the world. True fraternal love does not ask for compensation, does not experience jealousy. It's not exclusive. It only claims the happiness of the loved object with which it is satisfied. Jesus called all followers of his divine ideal brothers and sisters, and his legitimate followers lived in a fraternal community. The brother does not know the passionate dramas of neglected desires. He does not demand external considerations. He only asks for the happiness of those who enjoy his affection and dedication. For this very reason, although we are very far from the full implementation of the golden rule, humanity will not be fully happy while fraternal love does not establish its empire in the world. And I thought it was a beautiful, just with the word brother, it's how sweet, and we can put brother or sister, how sweet it is having that fraternal love, and how that fraternity will be the empire that will reign here on earth. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, with our thoughts, our minds, our feelings, emotions, sentiments, still connected to the fraternal love as being sons and daughters of God, to our biggest brother, Jesus, to our guardian angels, who are our brothers and sisters that are dedicated for us to help us in the situations of challenge, in the situations where maybe fraternal love we're not able to practice. Be grateful for this opportunity and let us continue in this journey to understand how fraternal love is important to build this society, to build this planet of regeneration, to build this empire on earth that will be a better place for us to live in. So let us reflect throughout the weeks, the days, and let our fraternal love not be a transaction. And we'll do it because we know that is doing the good. Let's ask that we have a blessed and a serene week, full of light and full of fraternal love opportunities for us to practice. So
Thank you.